digital natives, people born after 1980, have grown up with new technology and are using it every day, multiple times a day. This is why if you visit any junior high, high school, or college campus, you will confirm that the majority of students rely on their phone. My proposition is that in the 21st century, technological communication has had a huge effect on teens' writing abilities, and my following points are the secondary claims. Texting affects the way a teen writes in class and can lead to future writing complications. Today's teenagers have allowed texting to become their primary means of communication, so much so that it affects the way they write in school. Teens' only way of communication is through texting. According to a recent survey posted by the Pew Internet and American Life Project, 85% of teens engage at least occasionally in some form of electronic personal communication, which includes text messaging, sending email or instant messages, or posting comments on social networking sites. Children are using what is called inventive spelling. This is spelling words that they sound out. For example, when students express dismay, they write OMG. Literally, they write the letter O, M, and G. This means, oh my God. When they want to know where you are, they spell where, W-R-U, instead of saying where are you. This is a new language and one that cannot advance the cause of education for the 21st century. Inventive spelling is becoming a bad habit. Teens do not know when to differentiate social life from professional life, such as when they are at school, they cannot realize they are not texting, and they write as if they were texting. This is harming their writing skills because teachers are seeing it more and more in essays and in class assignments. According to a recent study, 25% have used emoticons in their school writing, which is all the faces that you see on the new phones, it's a new app for the iPhones. Informal punctuation and grammar. 50% have used informal punctuation and grammar. 38 have used text shortcuts such as inventive spelling, which is LOL and OMG. My secondary claim is texting fails to allow teens to express themselves in person. Teens don't have face-to-face communication anymore. They text everything they feel on social networks or to friends. As stated on Livestrong, with more teens preferring to talk, concerns rises over whether this phenomenon stunts emotional growth. A dearth of face-to-face conversations may keep teens from learning how to read facial expression, body languages, or nuances in speech, and develop empathy, a skill learned from observing behavior in other people. So self-confidence also may be eroded by constant contact through texting, making teens overly dependent on friends and not fostering a sense of independence. Texting allows students to hide from problems rather than facing them. For example, teens, when they break up with girlfriends or boyfriends, don't call them or ask to speak to them face to face. They think it's normal just to text and say that they no longer want to be with them. My third claim, communication skills in teens has decreased. That they rely too much on technology. Cell phones are becoming a modern day necessity, to the point where they are a must-have for every teenager and adult. Human beings are growing increasingly attached to these devices and depending on them more and more for their communication with other people, job duty, and other daily activities that they must accomplish. They no longer need to communicate face-to-face in so many situations. They can now email or text what they need to say. While technology has the potential to make life more fulfilling, there is that ever-present danger that technology can have an adverse effect on our children. Children today do not spend their leisure and time playing dodgeball or skating. They spend hours playing video games, watching TV, surfing the internet, or using cell phones. Teens find it much easier to say what they have to say through messages because it is much easier than actually growing courage and speaking with the person face to face. For example, stated in Livestrong, a teen may get angry at a friend for not responding immediately and constantly to messages, not taking into consideration that the absent texter may be sleeping or driving. Incessant contact with friends and getting multiple opinions on every topic may impact teens' decision-making skills, since they may feel insecure and incapable of thinking things through on their own and trusting their own judgment. Also, 2/3 of teens surveyed in the Pew Research study reported that they are more apt to with their text with their cell phone than use them for spoken conversation. This is why I believe that in the 21st century, technological communication has had a huge effect on teens' writing abilities.
Well, you do state the proposition, but I do think that you need to have a point of view on that proposition. You say it has an effect, but you're not saying what kind of effect it has. Ultimately, I think you're coming down on the argument that it has a negative effect, so I'm not sure why that's not included in the proposition. There isn't really a setup in the preview of what the body of the speech is going to be, but when you get to the body of the speech, I do think that you do a good job signposting the secondary points and making it easy for us to follow along at that point. You're very dependent on some hypothetical examples in a couple of places, and even places where you are using testimony from a site like Livestrong, for instance, they're using hypotheticals in these particular situations. So we don't have any data that suggests that this is true, just some circumstances that might happen. For instance, somebody might take umbrage at the fact that they didn't get a response back from somebody to their text immediately. Well, you know, I'm sure that that's possible, but that it's ever happened in real life, or that it's something significant that we ought to be worrying about, and therefore it's going to intrude on people's ability to communicate. I think that's a bigger stretch, and you need a lot more information there. I just think there's some problems with the sufficiency of the data on that particular point. I think you do a pretty good job showing that we have become dependent on technology to do those sorts of things. I'm not sure that you've done as complete a job in showing that it's having a negative consequence. For instance, on the use of emoticons and the shorthand language that you're talking about, if it's used primarily in the technological environments that you're talking about, I'm not sure that it's an issue. The bigger issue is whether, like you said, it falls outside into professional fields, or, for instance, in their academic work. And again, mostly what you have are examples. I did think I heard one statistic that talked about the potential use of emoticons in some papers. That seemed a little strange that somebody would do that, but you know what do I know? I've never had a paper where somebody stuck emoticons in it, you know. You guys got some outlines that you want to put emoticons in and back up his argument with? That would be okay. All right. We'll stop there.